right, so we've got one of the more interesting whiskeys that the Bardstown Bourbon Company's put out in the last few years, and this one is 10, 11, and 12-year-old whiskeys. Now, the reason why I say whiskeys is that's what it is. It's bourbon and rye. And here's the other kicker. They took those well-aged whiskeys and aged them for an additional 32 months in Scotch cask. The real question is, did they find that middle ground between American and Scotch whiskey, or did they leave it sitting in those Scotch casks for about 31 months too long? Well, let's find out today on the Whiskey Tank. Hey everyone, welcome to the Whiskey Tank. I'm Joe. If this is your first time checking out the channel, welcome. If you're a return viewer, thanks for stopping back over and checking another episode. Got another fun one from Bardstown Bourbon Company. So let's talk about this whiskey a little bit and kind of like what they put together here. So this Lochs of Jura is made up of 3 different whiskeys. First is a 49% blend of 11-year-old Indiana, let's call it MGP, bourbon that's 75-21-4. Then they've got 30% of their classic MGP 10-year-old rye with that 95.5 mash bill. And finally, the last 21% is 12% wild turkey or bean, because it's made in Kentucky and it's got a mash bill of 75-13-12. All right, let's just stop and kind of like chill on that for a second. We've got 11-year-old, what's probably MGP bourbon, 10-year-old, what's more than likely MGP rye, and 12-year-old, what's I think is probably either turkey or bean. Now that blend is interesting without doing anything else to it, but that's not where Bardstown finished. Now we've got 32 months spent in Scotch whiskey cask. Now those casks are interesting on their own because they're 84% were ex-bourbon barrels and the other 16 were ex-sherry barrels. So you're adding a lot of really interesting fun notes in there that's got to be bringing some fruit flavors to this whole party. And what's really kind of cool about that is 84% of them start over here as bourbon barrels. They ship them over to Scotland where they age Scotch whiskey in them, and then they're shipping them back over and we're aging them over here with bourbon again. I mean, it's just blowing my mind, all this stuff that's going on. Now I'm wondering if all that's going to be too complicated to really enjoy, or if it's going to be a lot of fun and add just the right amount of different kind of flavors to this whiskey to make it interesting. Now all of this is bundled up in a 104 proof package, and it's available on, I think today, August 21st for $139.99. Now that's a hefty price tag, and I'm going to try to see whether or not I think this one's worth it. And then you can make the decision on your own, but I know it's going to be a lot of fun doing this fresh crack review. If there's something Dan Calloway's not afraid to do, that's to take a risk. Now this is going to be so interesting, but I just kind of want to take a second and look at this packaging that they sent over here. Now this again was artwork done by Margaret Archibald, and so that's a local Louisville artist, and so they took her artwork and they added it to this, and they also did that Discovery 2026. If you haven't watched a review that I did a video on just a couple days ago, go back and check that one out, because both these whiskeys are dropping together on the same day. They're national releases too, so they should be available in a lot of different marketplaces. But let's go ahead and get this thing open and get into this and see if this whiskey package is all flash and no substance, or if it's bringing the real deal. So there we go, guys. That's a good looking bottle right there. I really like the colors of this. I mean, if you can't tell from my whiskey room, I'm kind of into those blues. So I think that that's really a good look. The color of this whiskey is really nice too. And like I said, it's got that good mix of both MGP bourbons and ryes. And I know it says Indiana, but listen, we know if it's from Indiana, it's more than likely MGP, right? Now that other mash bill is really interesting. It could be turkey, it could be beam, I'm not sure, but either one I'd be more than happy with, especially with some of the whiskeys they put out lately. It's only 21% of this mash bill, but I think it's definitely going to bring a lot of flavor with it. Let's go ahead and get into this. My favorite part, breaking that seal. Yeah, buddy. I said it before and I'll say it again. One thing I really love about Bardstown Bourbon Company is they use synthetic corks.
Oh, well played.
That to me is brilliant. I'm all for people like showing, you know, tradition and all that stuff, but I've had too many corks go bad in bottles. Let's go ahead and get this cork pop though. My goodness, that thing brought the pop today, didn't it? That was nuts. All right, let's get a little of this glass. And the glass I'm gonna use today, some of you guys have commented on these glasses before. I'm gonna break out one of my rum tasting glasses for this Scotch influenced bourbon and rye. I mean, it's a little mix of everything, so let's get this in a really fun glass. I love these glasses. Give a nice hefty pour on that. What a good looking whiskey here. That is a dark, dark, dark whiskey. Beautiful looking legs on it. And this is something too. 32 months is a long time to spend in a finishing process. I mean, at what point do we stop calling that a finish and start calling that a relationship? I mean, these things are practically attached at the hip now. 32 months in those ex-Scotch casks, I mean, are just something else. All right, this hasn't even started dropping off yet. There we go. That looks like wax melting down a candle. I mean, that's just a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful legs coming down. All right, let's get this baby on the nose. So I find myself looking back to see if I'm actually sniffing whiskey here because there's no ethanol on this. Oh, this has a really fun nose. I'm getting like a figgy, jammy like nose with maybe just a little hint of spice. Now there's definitely some oak in this, but not like a ton. Yeah, it's really fruity. So I think it might be like maybe a little raisiny is what I'm getting, but to me it's like almost like a fig Newton. There's like an undertone of like a grain, but not like a graininess like useful whiskey. It's like a grain, like a cereal that I'm getting off it. I mean, really, just look at that color though. Color's beautiful, legs are beautiful, and 104 proof. I mean, that doesn't surprise me. I'm not getting like a whole bunch of ethanol. I just thought I'd get a little bit more. There's like none in here. All right, I've smelled it enough. This is a fresh crack review. I can't let this thing get too much air. It'll throw my whole shtick off. All right, let me get a sip. This is good. It's almost like apple pie spices, like on a fig Newton. There's that jamminess, I guess, sometimes from like that sherry finish for only, what is it, 16, 14, something like that percent ex-sherry cask. It's bringing in a lot of influence. It's completely deadening down that 95.5 rye to where it just gives like a little hint of mint, right? There's still some rye spice in there and some mintiness, but it's very, very slight. It's just an accent. It's a backup singer for sure. And what's coming on the forefront is a lot of those jammy, fruity flavors. I mean, it's really kind of interesting. And I'm not really missing out on the viscosity on it for 104 proof. It's got a pretty decent mouthfeel to it. Let me go ahead and get another sip. On that sip, I got a lot of the sugars like coating the side of my tongue. There's a little bit of that rye spice that hints in, a touch of oak, not much. I would really think that this would have a lot more oak influence, considering you're talking about 11 to 12-year-old whiskeys, American whiskeys, and then you've got 32 months and a secondary finish in those ex-Scotch casks. I just would expect more oak, but it's nice. It's got a good amount of oakiness, but it's not bitter in any way. I'm getting just a nice, generous amount of sugar and sweetness out of this, a nice jammy fruit-like taste and finish. It's almost like a creamy fig Newton. I mean, is kind of close to what I would say this is like to me anyways, or like those like cereal bars, because there's definitely some grain in there, some spiciness coming in that's almost like a apple pie spice, but it's probably that rye spice that I'm getting. It's almost like the same kind of like rye spiciness I get on a Jack Daniels, where it's not like a minty spice so much or a spearmint for me. It's more like those baked apple pie type spices that I get sometimes in a Jack Daniels rye. But overall, I'm really pleased with this. The finish is nice. It goes on for a little while. It's not super long. It's nothing that I'm like still, tasting like, minutes after, but it's a good amount of finish on it, a good mouthfeel on it, definitely a good palate, that fruitiness and all those other flavors kind of layered in there. I'm really enjoying this. I don't know if I mentioned at the beginning of the review, guys, and I just want to be transparent with you. I did get this sent over to me. I've been kind of chatting back with Holly and Amy over there at Lofted Spirits. They're fantastic to talk with. They're really proud of what Dan Calloway's been able to accomplish over there with his blending, because it is definitely interesting. I'm telling you that much. If you're somebody who likes different experience with the whiskeys other than just your classic caramel and vanilla notes and all that stuff, this is for you. If you're somebody that's more like just kind of, hey, I want to shoot straight down the center, hey, maybe this isn't for you. And especially at $140, you're going to want to pass. But if you're kind of like how I am and you want to try and taste different things, because when you get a bunch of bottles on your shelf, you're kind of like, hey, let me taste something just a little bit different. This is different enough to make it interesting, but not so far over the edge I think it's going to be polarizing. I think it's just good whiskey. I really do think it's good whiskey. All right, guys. Hey, thanks for stopping by and checking another episode. If you haven't done that thing yet, go ahead and do that thing and collect that thing and make that sound and all that good stuff, because that also could bring you the chance to win a bottle of E.H. Taylor Small Batch, because I'm going to do a giveaway on the channel here as soon as I hit that milestone number of 1,000. I'm so damn close. I'm over 900 now. It's beautiful, and that's because of you guys. So thank you so much for your support. Thank you for your comments. If you have something to say about this, if you've tried it and you think it leans too heavy into Scotch, let me know. If you think it leans too heavy into American whiskey, let me know. And if you think it is right there in that perfect little Goldilocks spot, let me know that too. Drop a comment below. Guys, I think this is a good one. Until next time, cheers from the whiskey tank.